Well, the Niagara IceDogs have confirmed that Krys Barch has become the new head coach of the hockey team. And it was first mentioned over the weekend by Jeff Merrick over social media that Barch was anticipated to be the next head coach. And the IceDogs made that confirmation yesterday afternoon. And for Barch, he played in the Ontario Hockey League with the London Knights. He appeared in 187 career OHL games. And then in the National Hockey League, 381 games with the Dallas Stars, Florida Panthers, and New Jersey Devils. So he brings that sort of pedigree to his position here. Last year, he was coaching the Huron Perth Lakers last year. So he's got that experience. He's an up and coming head coach. And he's now becoming the 11th head coach in franchise history for the Niagara IceDogs. And it's really interesting how, when you read some of the comments here, this is an opportunity for the team to refocus as they want to become more accountable. They want to increase their compete level and be innovative with this organization going forward. And of course, that's coming after a cultural review of the hockey team, which was launched in the second half of the 2024-25 regular season. This is a team trying to head in a new direction, turn a new leaf, but there's still a lot of questions around this team, but we're starting to see some progress. They have the new general manager with Frank Uvola and now Krys Barch behind the bench. And it is interesting when you look at the amount of coaches this team has gone through since 2022. Billy Burke, he was the longest serving coach from 2017 to 2022. And then, of course, there was all the allegations with the harassment and whatnot. And then he was suspended by the OHL. Jody Hull took over as the interim head coach. After that, Daniel Fitzgerald in 2022 was named head coach before Jeff Angelidis was brought in as an interim head coach, also in 2022. And then finally, Ryan Quabara, he was brought in during the 2022-23 season and then replaced by Ben Boudreau from 2023 until 2025. And now we have Krys Barch. So I think the big thing here for the Niagara IceDogs, you want stability, both on and off the ice. They want to change the culture of this team after what happened last year. Darren DeDoubler, the owner, he's supposed to take a back seat when it comes to managing things with this hockey club on the day-to-day basis. So there's a lot of moving parts here with the IceDogs. Fans still having a lot of questions as to what's going to happen next. But I think this is a good step for this team as they try and prepare for the upcoming 2025-26 OHL season. But what is interesting, though, for Barch, he did coach his son, Kane Barch, last year with the Huron Perth Lakers, who was drafted 22nd overall by the Kitchener Rangers. You got to wonder, is there a chance that Barch ends up being traded to the Niagara IceDogs to continue playing under his dad, or are we going to have a bit of a rivalry here between Kitchener and Niagara? But still, I'm sure for IceDog fans, some relief here now that we know who the head coach is. That anxiety has now passed, but still there's question marks as to who's going to return for the IceDogs next year. And I've mentioned in videos before, I do feel as though they have the potential to be one of the contenders in the Eastern Conference if they get all the returning pieces back from their core. But there's been a lot of speculation around the Ontario Hockey League about what could be happening with players. Do they want to return? Do they want a potential change of scenery? We had Brady Wasslin, of course, commit to the NCAA. So there's still a lot of question marks, but hopefully this can settle things down a little bit here when it comes to Niagara. Now, we have had a few trades over the last 12 or 24 hours. First off, the Kitchener Rangers have traded the playing rights of Jude Bray to the Brantford Bulldogs, and that was a conditional sixth-round pick in 2026 that went the other way. And in a statement from Spencer Hyman, the general manager of the Brantford Bulldogs, they are excited to acquire Bray. They feel like he would fit nicely with this organization and with adding some depth to the blue line. Bray, he is an NCAA committed player. So because of the new rules that are in place, he could sign with the Bulldogs, maybe play a season or two before going off to his NCAA commitment. He's a Niagara-on-the-Lake native, so he wouldn't be playing too far from his hometown, but still, Bray being acquired here. He played last year with the Sherwood Park Crusaders of the BCHL and 22 points in 50 games last year, so not too bad with the Crusaders. Obviously, he's more of a stay-at-home defenseman, and we'll see how that translates to the OHL if he does sign. At this point, he has not yet signed a commitment with the Bulldogs. That's why it's still a conditional pick going the other way. There were a couple trades done this morning. First, Brantford, another trade, this time with the Peterborough Petes. The Petes, they sent their first round import selection to the Bulldogs for Brantford's second, along with a second round pick from Owen Sound in 2026 and two third round picks in 2027, 28. So obviously, the Brantford Bulldogs have someone in mind that they want to select in the upcoming CHL import draft. So that's why they're acquiring Peterborough's first round pick. But remember, that draft is going to take place July 2nd. So Brantford, one of those teams right now considered maybe an early favorite in the Eastern Conference. We'll see who they're potentially looking to bring over in the import draft. So a very interesting move here with the picks going between these two teams. And also today, the Owen Sound Attack have acquired Jacob Therrien from the North Bay Battalion. They gave up a second round pick in 2029, along with a third, a fourth, and a fifth. So 4 draft picks going to the battalion for Jacob Therrien. And for Therrien, he plays on the wing. He 5'8" is how he stands, but he plays a big game. He's a heavy hitter. He likes to, push the line a little bit. We saw last year with a few suspensions. He racked up 90 penalty minutes with the battalion last season to go along with 17 goals, 21 assists, 38 points. So Therrien bringing that physical style to the Bayshore. Obviously, we've heard in the past how Dale DeGray wants to have a team that has that blue collar attitude. They want it to be an arena in Owen Sound that's tough to play against for visiting teams, and Therrien kind of brings that with his physical style. Also in the playoffs last year, he registered 4 goals in 5 games for the North Bay Battalion in that first round matchup against the Brantford Bulldogs. So not a bad pickup here. He's also a 2006 born player, so he could come back for an overage season. And for the Owen Sound Attack, they look like a team that's ready to take that next step. Are they a contender? I don't know if I'd go that far, but they should be a much improved team from what we saw last year. And Therrien bringing some of that sandpaper and some a little bit of offense to go along with it into next year. Now, here on the channel, we've been following along with the situation that's been going on in Niagara Falls, New York. We know they had talks with the Ontario Hockey League about potentially being a site for a future expansion team. What's been ongoing now for the last 3 years is a battle between the city and a developer over 10 acres of land. It's been going back and forth these last 3 years, trying to figure out who, in fact, owns the land. And we just learned that the New York Supreme Court has sided with the city of Niagara Falls, which means they could be another step closer to actually building the Centennial Park project. It's a plan to build an arena that would be 6,000 to 7,000 seats. And the idea is that the main tenant could be an Ontario Hockey League-based team. We also learned from the mayor that the project has now gone up to $200 million to build. And he's citing that because of construction costs have been up all across North America, not just here in Canada or the United States. It's been across the board. So we're still waiting to find out. There's a study that's supposed to be released before the end of the month that would break down how this project would be funded. The mayor also looking at maybe private contributions from the community just to cover this. But he's been really pushing for the Centennial project. It's been either an arena or a data center. And that's what the developer wants to bring, saying that this could bring thousands of jobs to the city of Niagara Falls, whereas the mayor wants to build an arena, wants to build on the economy locally as an attraction. So we'll wait and see what all transpires here. But I wanted to share that news here today that this land dispute between the city and the developer has taken a step forward, and the courts at this point have now sided with the city of Niagara Falls. Are we that closer to finding out that the OHL could finally have a team in New York State? And we'll have to wait and see what happens next on that front. So that's how I see it from the booth. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on any of these news items. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.